dog readers, I'm Ellen. Welcome to my spare bedroom. I have a cold. Please forgive all the sniffling that's going to go on. I'm going to show you some different resistance stretches for your hip flexors. The first one we're going to do is the most basic one, and it's the best option for people who have bad knees and aren't able to kneel very easily. So, coming down on your back, you can use anything to resist with your leg. I'm going to use my pole, but this is just as easy to do in a door jamb because this leg is just going to be up here for stability's sake, basically. So, and it's pretty easy to pop off the pole, so this might be better done at a door jamb. This leg is up just for stability. We're going to work the hip flexor on this leg, on my left leg. Basically, I'm going to contract this muscle, the hip flexor target muscle, while I provide resistance with my hands, bringing my knee in towards my chest. And once I get all the way in, continuing to resist with that muscle, but now my arms win and push my leg back out for the stretch. So in this direction, I'm contracting and strengthening the muscle while providing resistance with my hands. And in this direction, I'm stretching the muscle and strengthening my arms a little bit too. So smoothly moving back and forth, probably maybe 8 times in each direction. You don't really need to do too much more than that. And taking 3 to 4 seconds in each direction. I'm never letting off the engagement of that hip flexor. So my hip flexor is already tired. It's contracting in both directions. It's just that in one direction my arms win, and in the other direction my knee wins. And obviously, then you would just do the other side. This second hip flexor stretch is the one that's probably the best for most people and is the one that I tend to teach just about everyone. It's going to look a little familiar to you. You're going to start out in this kind of familiar lunge position, but you want to do a couple of checks on your alignment. First, you want to be sure that when you drop all your weight forward, your knee doesn't go out over your toes. So make sure that you've got it nice and squared up over your ankle. Then you want to look at your back leg. Many people's back legs is going to want to turn in. And you want to make sure that your leg has a nice straight line running all the way down to your toes. All right? Some people turn out, not most people. So nice and straight there. Now remembering, this is the target muscle, the back hip flexor. So we're going to start in this completely lunged forward position. Hips square, glutes tucked under. From here, I'm going to kick the back foot into the mat, and I'm going to drive the back knee into the mat like I'm trying to bring it up to my chest. As soon as I do that, I feel this muscle really start to contract. I'm going to kick so hard that it just pulls me upright. Once I'm upright, I keep kicking and engage the front hamstring to pull me forward while the back foot and knee resist. This is the stretch. Once I'm all the way forward, I release the hamstring, and that back kick brings me upright. Then once again, grab with the front hamstring and pull forward while the back foot and knee resist. You want to keep your glutes tucked under. You don't want to lean out over your legs. Stay nice and upright as you go back and forth. Again, probably trying to go 8 times each way. This one's pretty intense. Most people are screaming by the time you get to 8. If you play with that back foot, if you turn it in and do this, you're going to feel it grab different fibers, and if you turn it out, it'll grab different fibers. But for the beginning, have that foot nice and square and just go back and forth, never letting off the kick. Drive the knee into the mat the whole time and take it back and forth. Definitely helps to hold on to something. Got the trusty pole, but you could use a chair or the arm of a couch as well. Alright, so third and final hip flexor stretch. This one's a bit of a variation on the second one. Looks really similar. It's very intense though, and it doesn't have a strengthening direction. So this is just a big stretch. Not great for the beginner with very, very tight hip flexors, but this is a nice variation to know as your hip flexors get looser. So we're going to start in that same familiar lunge position. Again, checking the alignment, making sure the knee is over the ankle, squaring up those hips, and then on that back leg, which I want nice and straight, I'm going to go ahead and just pop up onto my toes. So I'm really in a very, very deep lunge here. From here, all I'm essentially going to do is set my knee down on the mat. But the resistance comes in by letting this hip flexor fight gravity. So the knee is going to come down in about 4 seconds while this hip flexor fights it. When I get to the bottom, I just pop right back up onto my toes and I do it again. Resisting, fighting. This is super intense. It may not look like much, but there's a lot going on here. Again, try to get through 8 of these and then do the other side. Like I said, there really isn't a strengthening motion in this version, so you do want to do the other ones is be sure that you're getting some strength in that muscle, which is usually very weak on people. And one more time I'll tell you, don't forget those hamstrings. They're the balancing muscle to your hip flexor. You need both muscle groups to be both long and strong if you want flexibility on both sides of your leg. Thanks everybody and good luck with your flexibility.